let's get straight to the point. I'm gonna show you how to remix any song you want. So how to get just the vocals, how to get just the instrumental, basically how to sample any song. A lot of people have been DMing me on how I make my remixes or how I even get the stuff to make my remixes. So I thought I'd make a video about it. I'll leave a link to a couple of examples if you wanna go check them out, but let's go ahead and get straight into it. Before we start, I do firmly believe that if you're a producer, even a DJ, because if people hear something they recognize, they automatically resonate with it. So that would be the vocal, right? Of whatever song it may be. It could be trending, it could be nostalgic, it could be any song, right? Then they hear your spin off of it, right? Your drop, the way you chopped up the vocals, the way you chopped up the guitar. Like, they're super fun and they really connect with people. If you're trying to grow your brand, try to grow your audience. So let's go ahead and get right into it. My name is KrysticMusic. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. We are glad to have you. First and foremost, all right, so first off, for example, here, my most recent remix that I just made, this from start to finish literally took me maybe an hour. Now, this is not really mixed or mastered or EQ to the max. Like, it's just your bare bones, like high pass, low pass, maybe tweak a little bit there. This one, I was doing an iCarly remix. I have the vocal, so this is just the vocal, right?
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful.
So I'm gonna teach you how to get just the vocal. And then if you want to hear a demo of this, I'll leave it in the description below.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me.
And even on the drop, you can add your spin off of it.
It's all for real. I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up the members of my nation. It's your time to be.
So yeah, you get the idea. So let me show you how I did this. So first you can Google like YouTube to MP3, but this is a studio acapella from YouTube. The song is old enough, or if it is like a theme song or kind of popular, you know what I mean? There'll be an acapella for it, but most of the times all your trendy new songs, even stuff that's just on like a commercial or something that's kind of trending right now, it's probably not gonna have a studio acapella. But if it does have a studio acapella, you'll just be able to find it off YouTube, right? So for example, for this song, I just searched up iCarly, right, theme song. And I was going to go ahead and do my little technique here, right, of the iCarly theme song, but I was like, wait, let me check if it already has an acapella, right? So I go acapella, and since it's older, like this was 6 years ago that somebody posted an acapella to this.
I know, you see.
So basically I was like, okay, cool, download this, easy enough. But let's say you do not have a studio acapella or the song's new. So I've been wanting to remix Summertime Sadness, right? So I just search up Summertime Sadness, see if there's already a studio acapella for it, right? And you can do this on YouTube, Google, whatever, just look it up, right? I'm pretty sure there's probably something where it's just her vocal. So it's right here.
Before you go.
In that case, there's already a studio audio, so let's go ahead, the studio acapella for it, right? So let's go ahead and search something different. Let's say I wanted to sample this song. I just YouTube to MP3 this song, right? Let's say I wanted to sample that into a drop or something, right? So this link, I'll put this link in the description. This is the one I found that you don't have to create anything, pay for anything or whatever like that. So, and don't worry about any viruses or anything. My computer's fine, but like if you have Windows Defender, you're pretty straight. Like there is a new version with better algorithms, blah, blah, blah. You can go ahead and do all that stuff if you want. So if I drag and drop, this is the audio right here. And this works with like anything, right? It could work with like memes. This works with anything that's downloaded to your computer. It can be somebody talking. It could be one of your videos that you recorded out in the world. It could be a meme, it could be anything, right? So once it's loaded up in here, you press play and it's just gonna play the music. So if I go right here where the vocal is, it'll just play the instrumental. And of course, it's not gonna be perfect, right? Because you are splitting a track. Well, I could go ahead and just play the vocal, right? It just depends on what you're going for. I sometimes do both just to have like a reference of the song and how it sounds. But it's just up to you. So in this case, I just want the vocal. So this is what the vocal sounds like.
Long as you joking now in for me, I ain't got it. My biscuit.
So basically, you would press save. You can change the format if you want. If you want it WAV or MP3, I'll just put MP3. You'll save, and you'll either put if you want both the music and the vocal separately, or if you want the music, which is the instrumental, or if you want the vocal. So if you just want the vocal, it'll just save the vocal. It'll just play the vocal. So then boom, you have the vocal, you can put it right into Ableton Live, right? And then the rest is literally just on you. You know what I mean? Like a couple of things to take in mind when you're remixing a song. The key or scale of the song, right? You need to be in key. The BPM of the song, so how fast it is, the tempo. And then what you want to remix it into. So you can literally remix it into anything you want. Jazz, lo-fi, EDM, trap, like anything that you would want to remix it to, right? There's plugins that you can use on your DAW, Ableton, FL Studio, whatever. What song did I use? Snooze. Snooze is you could put key and BPM, right? So basically it'll tell you right here, here's a breakdown of the key and BPM for the songs. Your key right here and BPM, right? And if you don't really know what that means, like literally Google is your best friend. I do have a music theory video out there somewhere. It's about years ago. I have to make another one, but basically, so you can literally put A minor scale piano, right? And you can look up your key. Oh my gosh, that's like really easy. I didn't even, what? So if you don't really know music theory, if you make music, I'm pretty sure you know what sounds good. And maybe you might not know music theory, but you know what sounds good. Have this for reference, just to make sure your remix is actually in key and it doesn't sound bad. If it's in key and if it's on time, it's really hard for your remix to sound bad, right? If you know at least a little bit what you're doing. And that's basically it, right? You just input it and you remix it, right? Here, let me just copy this over here, right? Put it to the side just because I have that warped. So now it's up to you, right? And the only thing that you need to do with your vocal, so it's going to come in all warped a certain way, right? It's going to either come in warped already with little warp markers like this, or it's out being warped, right? So your job is to kind of time it right. Because if you want to, because depending on what genre of music you want to go in, you can either do it to 120 BPM, 140 BPM, or you can do it whatever the BPM is on the song, right? If you don't want to change the speed, right? Or if you don't want to change the vibe of the song. This one is 143 BPM, so that's actually pretty great for us. So I would put that to 140 because that's like a real upbeat tempo, right? So just for reference on that, 140 would sound like this, right? For this track I have right now on this is 120, which is a more dancey house type of feel. That's why I went with 120. So yeah, so this iCarly sample, so the iCarly theme song, it was 127. So I could have either gone 140, 135, 70. So seeing this tempo as 127, I could either do 130, 135, 140, either way, but I went to 120, right? Because that's a bit more dancey. So it's basically just up to you and whatever you're feeling, right? I wanted it to be 120, so it just slowed it down a little bit. So basically you would just take your remix, right? You would figure out where the first note hits. So I know for iCarly, when she says I know, it's on the 2. So it's like the kick drum and then she says I know, right? So for example, I would set that one here, right? So this is the first, so that's the first thing you hear. So it should be at the start here. It's not at the very start of the track. You can do it that way if you want. I just wanted to have a little similarity because everybody knows the theme song. They probably don't want it to change all that much. So I put it right after the kick and then her voice.
I know you see.
And then as you can tell, it's already out of whack, right? So that would be where you come in and kind of time everything right. So however you like to do it, I just usually use a kick snare pattern. Or you can use the metronome. However you want to do it, you can chop it up, you can make it faster, you can make a part slower. It's literally up to you on how you want to work your remix, right?
I know you.
These are called warp markers, so you would just highlight over one of them. So this is her next little phrase, right? So, and you can grab that and drag it anywhere you want, right? You can make it over here, right? Or you can like put it where you want it. I want it right here. And if you double click it, it creates a yellow warp marker, right? And that will do the same thing. Say you create a warp marker on this next one. The only thing that's going to move is in between these two warp markers. So if you kind of get stuck on like, why isn't this moving? It's because you have 2 of these on. So you take this one off, and now if you move it, it'll move the rest. It'll move the whole thing. So it's really just up to you and how you want it. And I'll make a separate video on how to chop up vocals or chop up instruments. What you can also do with warp markers is create a MIDI drum rack. So for this one, so I know you see, so that'll be 4 warp markers, right? I know you see, like the syllables. All right, so I have this here. You would just put slice. I'm pretty sure it's slice. Yeah, slice to new MIDI track. And you know how I created those 4 warp markers? Slice to new MIDI track. And you can either do it by transient. The transients are the little gray arrows, right, that you see here. So if you wanted to go by transients, which it's basically just automatically determining for you where the vocal or track changes, right, is a transient. Transient is that the lines, right? Bar, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes, right? So I'm just gonna put warp marker because that's where I want it, because I made those. Slicing preset, we don't have to get into this, but I'm just going to use the default one, right? So preserve warp timing, which is, I want it to sound like this, so we press OK, and it'll slice 4 little warp markers that you can play on your MIDI keyboard or your regular keyboard. So they're right here, slice 1. So if I solo this track that I just made, it has it for me.
I know you see.
So we can get rid of those and you can play with it however you want. So let's say I wanted to chop up her vocals right quick. So you get the picture. So you get the picture, right? And it's just an easier way to chop up vocals, right? So that's just one technique you can do while remixing your song. So that's basically answering your questions on how I basically get it started, right? And then the rest is up to you. I'm probably going to do a lot more remixes on the channel because they're just so fun and easy, right? But anyways, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns in the comments, and like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new. But yeah, thanks again for all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, keep making music, keep listening to music, and I'm out. Peace.